So I want to know, what was your go-to game as a kid? Hey everyone, Aimee at Game Rant here. Today I'm super excited to dive deep into a thread that sparked a ton of nostalgia, folks reminiscing about their favourite video games from childhood. On our Game Rant thread, Pokemon was mentioned multiple times. The love definitely isn't limited to Pocket Monster collecting. The Sims 2 popped up a couple of times. Jenna sharing a hilarious story saying, "I remember creating my family and the Sims started a fire off screen that killed my dad's Sim. I couldn't stop laughing because I thought my dad had turned into a cup. It was his urn." For some, the memories were a bit more arcadey. Bubble Bubble and its adorable bubble-blowing dragons brought back smiles. With Pam saying difficult, fun, but also mindless once you'd played it 1,000 times. They remember playing it after school, on weekends, during breaks, at 2 AM when they were supposed to be sleeping. Just hearing the music these days, nostalgia. Do 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 do. And now, thanks to Pam's comment, I have the music stuck in my head, as this was something that I also played a lot when I was younger. I grew up with the Sega Master System, Commodore 64, and the Amiga, which wasn't really very popular in the US. My go-tos was James Pond 2, codename Robocod, the Great Gianna Sisters, and Chuck Rock. I'm kinda with Dominic here, in the sense of it depends on the year, who lists a vast array of different genres. Interestingly, Alan, although not a fan of sports games, always remembered playing a lot of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 when he was a kid. We played every level over and over because it was so funny causing mayhem when completing the objectives. What's also fascinating to me is that some regions have different titles for games. For example, Tim here says Spyro Ripto's Rage, which was also called Gateway to Glimmer where they're from. Tim also says loved going back to the old school WWE games like SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. There are so many incredible games from our childhoods that shaped us into the gamers we are today. Everyone's got that one game they just couldn't get enough of, and with answers being so diverse, it's fascinating to see the picks from different generations of gamers. It's also a reminder of how gaming has evolved, but also how the core joy of playing a game you love transcends generations. So let's keep this conversation going. Share your go-to video games from your childhood in the comments below, or continue the thread. We'd love to hear all about it. And while you're there, be sure to check out the thread section of our site. There are tons of new topics popping up every day, so you're bound to find something to talk about. That's all from me, and as much as I could talk about this all day, I want to hear your stories. Thanks so much for joining me today, and stay tuned into Game Rant. Stop.